Tonight, the Atlanta Hawks not only strive for their fourth straight road victory, but the Atlanta Hawks got something else in mind, and that is the Emirates NBA Cup on the line. This is the knockout round of the cup, man. The Atlanta Hawks have done an incredible job in the group stage, ending their reign, I guess, or their time 3-1, and now they're in the knockout round. The Bucks have already taken care of business versus the Orlando Magic last night, and now it is time for the Atlanta Hawks to take care of business. And I am geeked up and I'm excited. What's going on, everybody? My name is Walter Pollard, and welcome to Atlanta Hawks Digest. Of course, as you can see behind me, I got my bracket up. Of course, Oklahoma City, they won their side of the bracket. And also the Bucks, they won their side of the bracket last night. So that was super exciting to see how that has kind of come to. Now, let's not forget last year, the LA Lakers won the inaugural NBA Cup. They won the first year of it, so that is pretty cool. And so this will be a good opportunity for the Atlanta Hawks to possibly, be the second team to win it. If you really want to think big, let's think big. The Atlanta Hawks have a really big opportunity to put their name in history as the second team to win the Emirates NBA Cup. Of course, we all know how this kind of came about. And so this is a really good time, man. And I'm super excited to see the Atlanta Hawks in this position. And then not only just on that part, but just to make things just a little more sweeter.
I hope these New York fans find their way to the exit real quick. Boo, take y'all ass home.
Yes, Trae Young is laying it on thick for the New York Knicks fans, and that is where it is. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks, they're taking on the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden tonight on ESPN at 7 p.m. So make sure that you guys are glued to your TV. If you got Hulu, hit Hulu, whatever. Just go to wherever you need to check out the game, because we need to make sure that we are there rooting. I feel like when you root on your team, they feel those positive vibes. So make sure that we do that. The winner, of course, goes on to the next round, and they they punch their ticket to Las Vegas, and they'll be taking on the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks in Las Vegas, of course, in the semifinals. Yes, quarterfinals, semifinals. So yeah, they'll be taking on the Bucks in the semifinals. And that's pretty cool. And not to mention, again, the New York fan base, they hate Trae Young. I mean, they really hate Trae Young, and I really feel as though this is when Trae Young should show up, okay? He should show up in this matter. I mean, just seeing that it just sends chills. Of course, it reminds everybody of the 2021 campaign that the Atlanta Hawks went on all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals against none other than, ironically, the Bucks. So, just seeing that is super cool, seeing Trae Young in this mode. And, of course, seeing him talking trash earlier this season, playing against the New York Knicks, and saying what he had to say against those guys after a major win, 121-116 versus the Knicks here in Atlanta. It was actually back on November 6th, which is right before, the run that the Atlanta Hawks went on, of course, winning 6 straight. And then, of course, finally losing, unfortunately, to the Denver Nuggets this past Sunday. But that was, of course, some weeks prior to the Atlanta Hawks making their great run. And we can even dive into it really quickly. Of course, the last time that these guys played each other, the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks, it was pretty good, to be honest, man. The last time these two teams played, the Hawks, of course, they were coming off of a blowout to the Celtics at home. And then the difference between now and then, of course, was the fact that the Atlanta Hawks, they didn't have a lot of guys or a lot of bodies. Of course, this is around the time that the Hawks were going through the injury bug. And weirdly enough, the Knicks were dealing with somewhat the same deal. They were figuring out who they were as a team and what they had as a team. But since then, of course, like I said, the Atlanta Hawks, they had some ebbs and flows, wins and losses. But then the Atlanta Hawks went on a great run of a good run. Let's just say a good run of 6 games, a 6-game win streak. And then the Knicks, of course, their last, 13 games teams. The Knicks have actually won 10 out of the last 13 games. So again, this is really a really good matchup between these two teams. I feel as though these two teams are really in the right space, or right in the, not in the middle, but they're right where each other are. This is an even matchup between these two teams. I do believe that the Atlanta Hawks, of course, they have some weaknesses, and yes, the Knicks, they also have some weaknesses as well. I think these two teams will definitely be taking shots at each other, man. And just not to even mention the last time these two teams played each other, Zaccharie Risacher, give him a major shout out, because this kid, he went off. Let's not forget, he's the number 1 draft pick from the 2024 draft. But man, this guy went off for 33 points. He was 11 for 18 from the field, 6 for 10 from three-point land, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks to boot. That guy had an incredible game. And again, this was in a role where Zaccharie Risacher was actually starting to get into the starting lineup, because unfortunately it was too many guys that was on injury reserve. We had not injury reserve, but on the injury list. You had you had Bogdan Bogdanović. He, of course, was hurt. You still had DeAndre Hunter in and out of the lineup due to knee inflammation. So, of course, he was out of the lineup, of course. And you had Kobe Buffkin. You had V. Krejci. All of these guys that the Atlanta Hawks definitely need. Of course, extra bodies. These guys just weren't available. And again, this guy definitely did an incredible job that night going up against the New York Knicks. And also, too, I have not about this, but they're the Knicks. Knicks is short for Knickerbockers, okay? If you don't know, now you know. Knicks are short for Knickerbockers, and the Atlanta Hawks are going to whoop up on the New York Pants. All right, listen. Going into tonight's game, just a real quick update as far as the injuries and stuff like that. We all know that Trae Young has an Achilles, not injury, but just it's nagging. It's just a nagging issue right now for Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. But somehow in this new role of an assist artist or somewhat of a quarterback of the offense, it's good to see Trae Young in this mode. But unfortunately, Trae Young and Bogdan Bogdanović are listed as probable for tonight's game. Of course, again, Trae Young dealing with the Achilles injury, or the Achilles nagging issue that he has right now. Also, DeAndre Hunter and Jalen Johnson, they too have been listed not as probable, but as questionable. And as I'm pulling up the injury report for these guys, man, again, that is something we do not want for the Atlanta Hawks. Again, Bogdan Bogdanović, DeAndre Hunter, Trae Young, and Jalen Johnson all shown up on the injury list. And then, of course, Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart, they have been listed as a game-time decision going into tonight's game as well. Again, the Hawks have had, 2 days of recovery since their last game, which was against the Denver Nuggets. Wasn't a good showing. But, of course, they've had some time to rest, get themselves together for tonight's game. Again, I hope that these guys are available. Definitely would love to see, Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart not play tonight, but more than likely these guys are going to play. As a matter of fact, I do feel as though all of the guys are going to be playing tonight, even all the guys that I've listed, DeAndre Hunter, Bogey, Trae, and JJ. I feel as though all of these guys are going to be in the game, because this is a playoff atmosphere. This is a playoff type game. As a matter of fact, I'm even go so far as saying that this could possibly be a playoff matchup. We could possibly be seeing a playoff matchup between these two teams down the road. So why not tonight? Set this thing on fire. Let's have a really good game between these two teams. Last night, the Bucks, they eked out a win versus the Orlando Magic. And so tonight, let's just keep this thing going, and hopefully we can just develop some more excitement around this NBA Cup, because I ain't gonna lie, when I first heard about it, I didn't think it was going to be anything, but it's awesome. And like I said, these guys are playing for much more than just basketball. They're playing for the $500,000. Let's get it, Trae Young. Let's get it, the Hawks. Let's handle business. We hate New York. All right, take a bow, Trae Young, because he needs it. And I like I said, I believe that he's that guy. Yes. Trae, come on, we need you. And like I said, this is going to be an awesome game. But nonetheless, I've said all that I need to say. I've set the atmosphere for tonight's game. Make sure that you guys tune in, because it is going to be amazing. I am out. Peace.